All right, coach. So let's talk about 10 reasons why you may be losing football games. Be sure to save and bookmark this video if you don't have time to watch it right now. Number one, you lack the proper planning and preparation. This is the biggest mistake I see youth football coaches have. You don't have a game plan. You don't have playbooks. You don't have a practice plan. Like, this is a mistake. You know, a lot of you guys got a notebook where you got all your plays. That's cool to begin with, but you need to have a system and a coaching concept. I don't even care if you coach in 5U. If you need a practice plan, just go to my link in the bio. I got a free practice plan for you. Number two, you got piss poor communication. Look, you need to have a great way to communicate with your coaches, your parents, and your players. And just do what works for you. For a long time, I just had a text group. Nowadays, what I use is communication apps. There are several out there that's tailored for youth sports. Number three, you're not teaching your players the fundamentals. I hope you're picking up on a pattern here. If you have poor planning and poor communication, 9 times out of 10, you're going to suck at developing your players fundamentally. I had several coaches I had to coach up on my lower levels because they wasn't properly teaching the kids the fundamentals. You can't get mad at a 9-year-old who don't know how to snap the ball if you haven't taught them. You can't get mad at a kid that can't catch the ball because you haven't taught them the fundamentals of catching. Some coaches will recruit kids who have natural talent and don't teach any fundamentals. And yet you may win games because you have nothing but raw talent. Your kids are not ready for the next level because you haven't taught them any fundamentals. I'm all for elite leagues or advanced leagues, but I'm so big on the fundamentals and having your star players mixed with your support guys. I think it's so important for the overall development of all the kids. But I'm going to save that for another video. Number four, inadequate conditioning. I'm going to give you a little hack on this. In my programs, we start summer workouts in June, usually the second week of June. During that time, we focus on our conditioning big time. This is where our kids get stronger, faster, more conditioned, have more stamina. So if you don't have summer workouts, you want to add that next year to your routine. Number five, you lack player development. This kind of goes into not teaching fundamentals. This also goes into benching a kid because he may not be as talented as a stud athlete. As a youth football coach, you are responsible for teaching your kids and developing your kids regardless of the level. We all have kids on our teams that we know not going to be a football player in 5 years. That's not the point. It's your job to develop that kid into a whole person. Maybe they're not an athlete, but they're a great leader. Maybe they're not the fastest player on the team, but they're the smartest. Know every single player on your team and how you can utilize them, regardless of their talent level, especially on the youth level. A kid on my championship team named Zach. Zach was not athletic, but he was smart, and he was a natural leader. I put Zach at middle linebacker with one of my athletes, and Zach commanded the defense. He knew where everybody's supposed to be on the field. It was like having another coach on the field. After he was out of my program and went up to junior high and high school, I made him one of my junior coaches because I think that kid got a bright future ahead of him as a coach. So stop killing kids' dreams because they're not super talented. It's your job to find out what their superpower is and develop it. Number six, you struggle with adapting. In other words, you're stuck in your ways. You don't want to stop running a certain offense or stop running a certain defense. That's the biggest mistake you can do as a coach. You want to have a system and coaching philosophy in place. You always want to have a concept and plays that adapt to your players. Nick Saban is notorious for this. Nick Saban came along, Bama was a power running offense. Then they switched to the spread offense. Now they're switching back to more of a balanced run game. You have to be able to adapt to be able to be competitive and be successful. Number seven, your team lacks discipline. This is a big one. I won't lie, in my 15 years of coaching, I had a season or two where my team lacked discipline. And that lack of discipline cost us games. Here's the mistake I made. You can't be a player's coach at the beginning of the season, then become a disciplinarian coach in the middle of the season. They will not buy into that. Yes, I can wear multiple hats as a coach. I choose to be the disciplinarian, no BS coach in my program. I usually have 1 or 2 assistant coaches who are more like player coaches. It's a great balance. An undisciplined team will cost you a season every time. Number 8, you got poor time management skills. I get kids who come from other programs. This is like the number 1 complaint. They say things like, the last program my son was in, they never started practice on time. The coach shows up late. Look, I'm really strict on this. I'm literally the first to show up to practice and the last one to leave. Because it's my job as the head coach and athletic director to set the tone for my program. Don't be that program where you don't start practice on time and your coaches are always late. If they're always late, I'm kicking them out of my program. There are certain things you shouldn't tolerate in your program, and being late is one of those things. It's a program killer. Number 9, you're not strategic on game day. I can always tell experienced coaches from inexperienced coaches because most inexperienced coaches don't have a game plan on game day. So they're calling plays, but they don't have a strategy. And we usually eat those coaches up. You got to have a strategy and a game plan all the way down to how you call your plays. This is why when I'm running the Beast offense, everything is strategic. What I run, how I run it. Do we want to go power? Do we want to go spread and air it out? We want to set teams up with like a 3-sec delay. Like literally everything is strategic. We take what the defense gives us. And on defense, we're setting the tone. And number 10, you focus way too much on winning. Look, no doubt winning is important. That's why I'm sharing all of my knowledge with you. More so, you need to make sure you're developing these kids for the next level. My youth football program is a high school prep program. We're trying to prepare our kids for the next level, which is middle school and high school. Our 5U coach and 6U coach, they know they're preparing the kids for 7U and 8U. Our 8U and 9U coach know they're preparing them for our senior team, 11U and 12U. And I know I'm preparing them for middle school and high school. That's the way our program works. Listen, I've had losing seasons, I've had winning seasons. The best seasons I've ever had is when I see my kids develop into athletes and their grades improve. So we're literally building a foundation of having solid student athletes. Don't be that coach that's winning all these little league games. You boast about all your rings and then your kids end up on the streets after high school. Don't be that coach, because I see this happen way too often. It pisses me off because you have to focus on the kid as an individual, not just as an athlete. If you're just focusing on winning these little fake gold rings and all that bull crap, your perspective is off. It's okay to be proud of your accomplishments. I got a whole case back here that has my accomplishments. But don't make that number one. As a matter of fact, that needs to be down the list. Coach, I'm done. Be sure to follow me for more. You're welcome.